When it comes to bearing lubrication, maintenance, and repack, two names that get thrown around a lot are Bearing Buddy and EZ Lube. What I can tell you is there's some myths about there, maybe even a legend or two about it. I can dang sure tell you there's lots of opinions. I have my own opinion about it. So let's see which one's better or if there's any differences between the two. When it comes to bearing wear and or catastrophic failure of the bearing, I can tell you from experience, it generally is not a component issue. It is, I would say, almost 10 out of 10 times, it is a maintenance issue, whether that be a lack of understanding how to do it or simply just not doing it, maybe being lazy. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. The question I get asked a lot is, which one is better, or what do I think about EZ Lube or Bearing Buddy? We've covered both of these in some videos, but what I'm hoping to do today is just clarify any misconceptions up about it, maybe help us understand what the differences are, if there's one that's better than the other, or if there's one that's better than the other for different scenarios, whether that be trailers, conditions, whatever it may be. So be sure to watch the full length of the video as we break this down. If you had any issues with either one of these units, or if they've been great for you, leave us a comment. I'd like to know your story on it. When it comes to Bearing Buddy and the Dexter EZ Lube system, both of these systems have been around for a while. I utilize both of these as far as servicing them, installing them. I have run them personally. I would say I have quite a bit of experience with both, but the question is, which one do we use, when do we use it, and how to service it? That's usually the question that gets asked. And when these are abused, or if there's a failure between these two, again, I've never seen a Bearing Buddy fail due to component or manufacturing issue. I have never seen a EZ Lube fail for the same reason. It's always either a lack of doing something or maybe not understanding how it is to be maintained, serviced on a regular basis. That's usually what causes it. So we're going to start with the Bearing Buddy first and talk about it. So this does have the Bearing Buddy bra on it. That's just to keep dirt and crap out. If you'll notice, you will see a little grease on the outside of this, and that is normal. It does have a grease zert in the center of it where you apply your grease. For both of these systems, you will need a grease gun. And when it comes to grease guns, you have a lot of different options. You have the battery powered, you also have pneumatic. I have both. You have manual grease guns. They come in small guns and they come in full size, and they come in some larger ones. For either one of these, you do not need the battery powered or the pneumatic. You're not supposed to use it all. You have to use a manual, and that is for a very good reason that we're going to cover here shortly. So I'm going to get rid of the pneumatic or the battery powered, and we're going to talk about the manual. So on the Bearing Buddy, when it's time to fill it full of grease, you will connect your manual grease gun. We're using a lock and lube setup. If you don't own a lock and lube, it may be something you want to look at. I like the way it goes on. It just holds on, it doesn't blow off. You don't want to use the battery powered or the pneumatic because it can and will put grease too fast into the hub and many times cause the back seal to blow out, whether that be an idler or that be a brake setup, disc or drum. And if you get grease on your brakes, disc or drum, they're not going to stop. So make sure. So this is a older Bearing Buddy. It is a little worn as far as the outside look of it, but there's nothing wrong with it. If you see the inside, it is very clean. This is a usable product. These will usually last the life of your unit unless you abuse it. And the way it works, once you pump grease in there, it will push out to a certain point, and you have to read the manufacturer's recommendation on where this is to stop. That way you know it's got enough grease on it. Also, that is there to allow for when pressure builds up inside due to heat, any change in anything like that, it will allow for that to expand. It will let gases out. Sometimes you'll get a little grease squeezing out there, and that is perfectly normal. That's why I really recommend using the bra to go over it. It will still let it to vent, but it will keep some of the crap out of it. This is something that has to be checked. If you go to Bearing Buddy's website, if you look at the install manual and the maintenance side of it, it's something that has to be checked on a regular basis. The purpose of the Bearing Buddy is to keep positive pressure inside the hub. So when you're backing your trailer into water and you submerge it, it may be hot. If you're running an idler hub, it's not gonna be near as hot as if you're running a disc or a drum brake setup. But regardless, it's gonna have some heat, and when you back into cool or cold water, it can cause it to suck water inside the cavity of the hub, which is going to compromise the grease and eventually compromise the bearings and the races. So this keeps positive pressure to keep the water out and to help keep the grease where it's supposed to go. It's really not to keep the grease in, it's to keep the water out and other stuff out. But you need to make sure that they keep these clean and you keep them maintained. So in a marine application, if utilized properly, these work great. We also see them on utility trailers. I've seen them on horse trailers, stock trailers, every other kind of trailer, cargo trailers, whatever have you. And you can utilize them, but sometimes they're not necessary, and sometimes you may install it on the wrong setup. So now let's take a look at the EZ Lube. You'll notice the cap is different from the Bearing Buddy. It just has a thin cap with a rubber plug in it. This rubber plug is important, and I will say this rubber plug is abused on a regular basis. So once we take that out, you can see the grease zerk in there, and that is for applying grease. The way it works in the EZ Lube, once you pump grease in here, it actually travels through the spindle, comes out at the rear of the hub. It enters the bearing on the rear side. It goes completely through the bearing and makes its way to the outer bearing, fills the outer bearing, and then you will see grease here. We'll demonstrate that shortly to see if we can see the grease come out. So that's where it is a little different. Kind of the same concept as a Bearing Buddy, but in this it's going through the spindle, whereas the Bearing Buddy, you're pumping grease in the front, and it's just there to keep this full and to keep positive pressure. Now with that, there comes a debate. If you want to get people arguing, talk about filling a hub completely full of grease. I've been accused of that before, and it's okay. Can you fill a hub completely full of grease? In most cases, the answer on that is no. That's the way I was taught. That may be the old school way, but in most cases, you do not want the cavity completely full of grease. But there are some exceptions to that, and these two would be that exception to that. It is technically filling the cavity full of grease, but due to the cap on both of these and the systems on both of these, it is there to allow for expansion when it comes to heat, when the grease expands, any off-gassing. So those are some instances. There's other lubrication systems out there that are completely sealed, that are completely full of lubricants that do the same thing. If you're running the old style that just uses a regular cap, a lot of times they're domed or the cap is solid, then do not fill the cavity completely full of grease. You really just need grease on your bearings. One thing I like to do, you can see it in some of the videos, when I do a bearing repack, I will smear some grease on the bare part of the spindle in between the inner and outer bearing, just to keep down from moisture, especially if your trailer sits a lot. But whatever grease you put in the center of that, it's not necessarily going to make its way into the bearing or do anything for lubrication. But if you put too much, it can cause a problem. So be careful with over greasing, and always follow the manufacturer's recommendations. If they tell you to put X amount of grease in there, put X amount of grease in there, and most of the time you will be good and it will operate as it should. So what are the difference between the two? The selling point on the Bearing Buddy is to keep positive pressure, to keep crap out, to keep water or whatever that may be out, especially when going into a marine environment. You can utilize this too. This is rated in the EZ Lube setup, not standard grease, but EZ Lube is rated for full submerging. You can put this in the water the same way. If you're going into a salt environment, you may want to think about that. You may need to do an upgrade. If that's something you're doing on a regular basis, you're probably going to get some rust on the cap or some of your components. One of the big selling points for this, and what people think, or maybe what they hope for, is you don't have to tear down either one of these. You can just put grease in the ends of them and you're good to roll for life. You don't have to get your hands greasy. You don't have to get messy. You don't have to go to the trouble or pay somebody to go to the trouble for you to tear it down and repack. And that is the big question. Between these two, do you have to tear them down? And if so, when do you have to tear them down, and how long will they last? What I see a lot on the Bearing Buddy is, most of the literature I find on this, they can go for about 5 years before you need to do anything to them. I've heard some claims that people have run these for 20. As long as you're doing this correctly, run this to 20 and doing good. I would say that that is possible if you don't tow a lot. And that's what it's going to boil down to with either one of these methods. How much do you tow? If you're towing on a regular basis, that's got to change a little bit. On the EZ Lube setup, what this is designed to do is this. I'm gonna grab a grease gun and I'm really gonna show you what this is designed to do. So for the EZ Lube, the thought And one of the attractions to it is you can repack your bearings, so you can evacuate all of your contaminated or old grease out of here, replace it with new grease, and never have to open it up. You simply just pump it with a manual grease gun. You see any grease coming out? I see some coming out. And you do that, and if this were old, nasty, dirty grease, you would obviously see the old, nasty, dirty grease. For this setup, it is not. It is perfectly clean grease. I'm just showing this for demonstration. Once you see new grease coming out of here, so you've evacuated the old, out with the old, in with the new. Once you see that new grease, you just take this out, and you've got a packed bearing. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I will say that if you do it correctly, you have evacuated some of the old contaminated grease. Now, one thing you have to do is you have to spin it while you're doing that. I didn't show that in the video. I didn't have enough hands to show it, but you need to spin it, pump, spin, pump, spin, pump. So you would have to lift the trailer. So don't do this with the trailer setting under load. You would need to lift the trailer, place it on a static jack stand, block, something like that. Spin it while you're doing it. So once that is out, you have a new packed bearing, okay? You could say the same thing about the bearing buddy. You could pump, pump, pump. And if the grease looks milky or whatever, you could pump enough in there until it evacuated, because it will start coming out all around here. And you can see the new grease once it come out. And the problem I have with that, yes, while you may evacuate any old grease out of there, or at least let's go even the majority of the old grease. I don't know that you'll ever get it all out of there. Now, if you have some water in there, that's a different story, I think. If it's truly milky, if it looks, you know, any type of browning like from rust or contamination, I don't know that you're ever gonna get all that out of there with just a simple manual grease gun. And I don't think either one of these systems would say that you could do that either. I think they would say under perfect conditions, and you know, we know how often our conditions are perfect. Under perfect conditions, they work perfectly in those perfect conditions. Here's the thing. So if you look at your owner's manual on your EZ Lube, it's going to tell you that the bearings need to be lubricated certain intervals. And that's going to be every 12,000 miles or annually. So every 12 months. So 12,000 or 12 months. That's the easy way to memorize that. You need to service the bearings. In the Dexter manual, it's going to tell you on that service, it needs to be torn down and inspected. So you have to inspect those bearings. So you cannot inspect the bearings by pumping the end full of grease. You can see the grease, you can see the old and you can see the new, yes, but you can't see the condition of the races, the bearings, the washer, the seal, spindle, any of the other components that make up the hub assembly, whether that be idler or brake. You cannot see those, and so they recommend every 12 months or 12,000 miles, you have to do a teardown on it. So if you're using it this way to do your annual repack, is that the correct way to do it? My answer on that is no, it is not the correct way to do it. If you read on in the literature, it says you can utilize the EZ Lube system for perpetual grease. And I will agree with that. We'll have people stop in all the time and say, hey, can you put a few squirts of grease in my hubs? I'm taking a trip to Colorado. So here is what I do in that situation. I will go grab my manual grease gun and I will hand it to them. And I will always ask the questions, when's the last time you packed your bearings? Oh, about 14 years ago, I don't know. So they usually don't know when they packed them. And they'll simply do this, they'll put it on there, they'll put a squirt, boom, boom, and they're good to go. That's not what perpetual means in there. That's just pumping a squirt or two here. What it means is if you want to give it, maybe you brake a lot, maybe you're in hot conditions, or maybe you just tow a ton, but you're not at that annual or you're not at the 12,000 miles, if you want to give yourself an extra security blanket, you can do a full pump out on these in between your annual or your 12,000 miles, whichever one comes first. You can hook this on, pump it to do a full internal repack with the grease gun to get you to your interval where you need to do a complete teardown. So don't just stick it on there and put a pump. You are putting grease in there, but if you have contaminated grease in there, you're just mixing the old with the new. Is it better than nothing? Maybe. as long as you don't blow the seal out of the back if you have a brake system. If you haven't packed the bearings in 2, 3, 4, 5 years and you're wanting to do this, I'm going to say don't do it. You need to do a tear down to make sure the seal is okay, because if you are making that trip to Colorado, maybe you're driving 500 or 1,000 miles and it blows the seal out and gets in your brakes. Number one, when you go across that pass, you're not going to have any brakes, or you may just have enough to get them good and smoking hot, ignite the grease, and burn your whole rig down, which would be terrible. So when do you have to repack an EZ Lube? The manual says every 12,000 or annually you have to do a tear down. So when do you repack them without tearing it down? In between that, you can utilize it for perpetual grease, but just if you're going to go the trouble, jack it up, spin the tire, evacuate all the grease out there, but you need to look at it. Now back to the bearing buddy. How often should you tear it down? I see mixed reviews on that. A lot of people say you can make it 5 years. Here's what I'm going to tell you what I recommend. It's my recommendation only. If you don't tow very often, if you want to, it's really ultimately up to you. If you have a failure or you have success 10 out of 10 times, it's usually on you, that's usually on me. If I have something that fails, it's usually because it's a lack of doing something. If I have success, it's usually because I've done it the way it's intended to be used. So on this, whether I'm using the EZ Lube setup, which I own EZ Lube setup, or if I'm using some type of bearing buddy system or bearing buddy style, I'm going to tear this down annually. I'm going to look at my bearings, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to use this for perpetual grease to make sure I'm keeping positive pressure in here to keep the water out. On this, if I want to give myself a security blanket, I'm going to do a full evacuation of the old grease in between my 12 months or my annual, just as a security blanket to make sure I'm good. And maybe I go to pump it, and if the grease comes out super black and thin, hey, I may have something going on. I'm going to go and do my tear down now. If I do a full evacuation, it just looks a little dirty from where, hey, I'm probably good to my 12 months. But both of these, I'm going to recommend you doing an annual tear down or 12,000 miles, whichever one comes first. Or if you have brakes on either one of these setups, you may need to shorten that down. If you travel a lot, especially if you're somewhere where there's tons of traffic, if you get closer to the city and you're having to do a lot of stop and go traffic, you can get these super hot, which can compromise your grease. So you may need to speed up those intervals. So when it comes to EZ Lube and bearing buddy, is there one better than the other? Not necessarily. I prefer bearing buddy in the marine setup. I think it's a great product. EZ Lube can be used in marine applications. If you buy a new trailer, most trailers are going to come with EZ Lube today. I'm still going to pack my bearings traditionally on both of these. Not to say that I won't use them correctly in between those bearing packs, but it will never take the place of my inspection and bearing pack. And if you're running a brake setup, that also gives you an opportunity to look at your brakes, if they need to be cleaned, adjusted, replaced, whatever have you on that, just to get in there and put eyes and hands on it so you have a better peace of mind. Pack your bearings at least annually or every 12,000 miles, and you likely won't have any trouble in doing that. And I know some of y'all are going to comment, well, why don't they make a bearing that'll last like it does in my car? And why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? Well, here's the difference. A trailer hauls more weight in most cases than whatever it's being towed by with. Whether it's your pickup, SUV, or a car, it's used under different situations. The trailer is completely different. It's there to haul the load, and you're just towing the load. But I did have somebody make a comment, you know, I don't ever have to change the bearings in my front or rear axles. Well, if you have a rear differential, you at least have to change the fluids in those. A lot of manufacturers, you know, want you to change it at 80 to 100,000 miles. If you're using that underneath maybe commercial use, or you're using it as, you know, farm truck or something like that, most of those intervals go down to 30 or 40,000 miles when you have to change fluids. Front bearings, even on sealed bearings on most automobiles, have to be changed anywhere between 100 and 150,000 miles. And I can tell you from my own experience, because I work on some of those, they usually get changed when they fall off and they're sitting on the side of the road and they come in with the tow truck. So make sure you read your owner's manual on your tow vehicle as well, and you're keeping up with how you're utilizing that vehicle. Just like with a little bitty trailer with a single axle, you may not tow nothing on it, maybe lightweight. You may can stretch some of those maintenance intervals, but if you're using a tandem axle, hauling something a little heavier or going across country, you may have to shrink those maintenance intervals. But if you do what you're supposed to do and you make sure you've got good grease, everything's in good working order, you're likely not going to break down. Just like if you tighten the lug nuts to the proper torque, probably won't come loose, probably won't lose the wheel, probably won't be broke down. So tighten the lug nuts, change your grease, and we'll see you down the road.